Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the Lily Library. Today, I just wanted to skip a short demonstration of the Lily Library, and there's a few texts in here which we're going to go through. Now, the Lily Library was created, as you can see in the title, for kids that have difficulty. They find it difficult to read, and I have one such kid. The way this uh, library is structured, the titles, let's for example go to the first title, I Love to Dance. You can see here that this one goes by line, and that's really important for children who get lost in the jumble of words. So it's easier for them if it just shows line by line, and you can see as you go down, the top line remains, but the top line is not the problem since they are scanning left to right and down, so the top lines are not a problem. And also you can see these highlighted words are actually broken out into their components, so a child can get through difficult words and not get frustrated. When the words are broken out like this, they can learn how to break down a word into its components, sound out the components, and put it together. And it works like a charm. It works for my daughter who has problems with reading. And let's go to another text. That's one style of the readers. Let's go to this reader, and you see they have some animations as well. In this reader, now I observe that my color, like too much color, distracts children. I observed it with my child. If it's too colorful, then her eyes goes off and she's watching it. During reading, eyes goes off. She's watching the pictures, she's watching the different colors, and she's losing her place in the text. So these readers are devoid of colorful images that only serves, in my opinion, to distract the child. I observed it with my own child. Now you can see these words here, the indicator at the end of each word, just above it, shows that those words are broken out, right? Like this word is broken out. Now the accent above the Y is a rule, and that rule is saying that is a long sounding Y. And how does a long Y sound? Sounds Y. Let's go to another word that is broken out. Spring. Let's go to another word. Street. So the words are broken out. These difficult words that kids tend to get stuck on, they're broken out, helps them to get through the word. Children are very frustrated. I noticed it with my daughter when they cannot get through the word, and then they're looking to you to help them to get through the word. Well, here are tools in this reader to help the child get through the word. And then not only helps them to get through, they helps them to learn how to get through. It gives them the tools to break down the word, to sound out the components, and to put it back together. Here's a word here, word here. Now you can see that sometimes it's not reflecting the entire word. The concern is just to sound out the word. So throughout is not the entire spelling of the word. It just helps the child to get through that word so they don't get frustrated. It's an easy pronunciation, and they will make the association as they get used to reading this way. Now here's a word with another rule. It's kind of going off the page. That would have to get fixed. Here's an association. Neigh sounds like neigh. Neigh even will give grown people fits if you try to pronounce that. How is that pronounced? Nay, I don't know. But it is pronounced that way, and this is the cue. This is how the child is going to get through it. This is how the child is going to learn how to make associations, which is a very good way to help you deal with problems, especially with remembering how to pronounce difficult to pronounce word combinations like neigh. All right, and let me see if I could find one more rule. There's another rule for silent letters. I don't want to keep this too long. But there is another rule for silent letters. There are only 3 rules a child will have to get used to in these readers. And I believe it will work. It works wonders with my own daughter, who is going to be reading this text for the first time. So you'll get to hear her go through it. Thank you. This really helps my child. I really hope it helps your child. I know the frustration, and this was created to help to alleviate that. It may work for your child, it may not. Oh, here's another word, unique, with the long sounding letters, indicators. U sounds like U and E sounds like E. We put it together, unique. Now, this is a word that's it's simple, but it gives children a lot of problems at first. It's fairly easy to remember because it's a short word, so usually 1 or 2 times and then they will remember. But it's broken out this way. DEA sounds like de, but of course this E is a short E, doesn't have the accent, so it's a de. I'm trying to look for a word with silent hint, but it's in there somewhere. Anyway, I don't want to keep this too long. If you go through it, you would see it. It's fairly obvious. Parents having to sit with a child, help them through the text a few times. You sit with your child, help them through the text a few times, help them with a few words, and then gradually, hopefully, you will be needed less and less and less based on the tools that is provided within the lilylibrary.com. Thank you very much. The concern about the Lily Library is just for pure reading. It's not for entertainment. Yes, you'll have to sit down with your child and make sure they go through the reading 10-20 minutes. I have to do it with my own child. I have to dedicate the time to sit there and listen to my child read. Thank you very much. I hope this helps. Have a good day.
Oh no, I don't want people to hear my voice. The next day, watch point.
Okay, you ready? Okay, let's start. Go ahead. Come on, Lil.
Kenneth William Beckett lived on quiet block. The sidewalk of the block is lined with dogwood trees on both sides and runs the entire length of the street. In the spring, the dogwood trees bloom with brilliant pink flowers from the end of the street to all the way to the next. As the flower petals fall, the roads and the sidewalks covered in layers of pink flower petals that look like pink snow from a distance. The air throughout the neighborhood smelled like sweet perfumes. Due to the dog blossom. Every day, Ken and Lillian would go outside and play in the fallen flowers with the other fallen flowers with the other kids from the neighborhood. The children piled the petals into great big heaps, which they ran through. When the heap was sufficiently destroyed, they would build another heap and continue their games. For the children, it was great fun to play in the heaps of flowers for hours, unending. There are 14 houses on the street where Ken and Lillian live. 7 houses on either side. The name of the street is Mulberry Street. Mulberry Street has the biggest dogwood trees in the neighborhood because it was the first block to be built when the neighborhood was developed. Many decades ago, the trees were planted shortly thereafter. Many of the families of Mulberry never moved, passing the property down through the generations. The house that Ken and Lillian lived was recently bought by the parents. And Cheryl Beckett. This was an entirely new environment for the Beckett. But they like the neighborhood's quiet, traditional approval.
When you see that little thing above the E, that is a long E. What's a short, long E sound like? What's a long E sound like? E. Yes. So sound it out.
Apple.
App. Sound out each one.
App. Apple.
Sound it out. What's the first one?
App.
What's the second one?
Please.
No. Look again. What's the second one? Second word.
P.
Yes. And the last one? Yes. So put it together. Appeal.
Appeal and the accident.
The ancient
looking trees that line the street.
The ancient looking trees that line the street.
Street.
Yeah.
The street. Give the block the.
That's not the.
It's ankle.
No.
U.
It means that's a long U and a long E. So put it together.
U. Unique.
Yes.
Q.
That's not a long Q. Yes, that's a short Q. If you don't see that little accent above it, it's a short sounding letter. Okay.
So, Mulberry Street was known as the Smoky Street among the kids in the neighborhood. Mulberry Street has one entrance on the east side of the block. At the other end of Mulberry Street, it was dead end.
Not the.
And beyond that was
No, that's not was.
is I don't know.
Okay. If you don't know it, you see a little.
On the bell
Mhm.
up
Yes. So put it together.
undeveloped
Correct.
land filled with big old trees. And underground
Yes. That's not they.
there is a footpath either
That's not either.
on
Footpath to.
enter the forest area just beyond the dead end, about 20 meters from the beginning passage.
No, not too fast. Each word, sound out each word, please.
Of the footpath, it starts with trappers hiking trails.
Yes.
Trappers trails
Come on, ladies.
is very popular with local hikers.
So go to this page, this composite page, copy and paste your story in there, plain text, put your name and title into the format that is required, and hit publish. And once the story is approved, it's going to end up on the Lily Library for the entire world to see. I thought that was cool. Nice little feature. So share your creativity with the world. Thank you.